In this video, we'll learn about how to distinguish between current liability versus non-current liability or current asset versus non-current asset by using something called prison break method. It's a crazy method that I kind of came up with myself, but it works perfectly. So just understand, I've created an illustration. All are trade payables. One is operating cycle of that particular company. Numbers are in months. So data is in months. So operating cycle 10 months, payable in 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. So like that, the question goes. Now how to distinguish each and everything as current or non-current? So I have come up with this thing called prison break method. Understand, let's say there is a prisoner and this is a jail. And these are the two walls of that prison. This guy has to go beyond it. If he cannot go beyond these two prison walls, then he will be just called as current. Again, don't ask the logic and all, it just works. Let us see the condition for a liability to be called as non-current is that it should be beyond a period of 12 months and also it should be beyond its operating cycle, which is any liability that falls due within 12 months is called current, or any liability that falls within the operating cycle of its lifetime, then it is also called as current liability. Therefore, a liability to be called as a non-current, it has to go beyond the 12-month period and also beyond its operating cycle. Therefore, let us do the first scenario here. Operating cycle of 10 months. So 10 months comes here and this is the operating cycle. And the second wall is always the 12-month criteria, because 12 month is what, how long a year is. So if a liability is repayable within a year, it is most likely a current liability. Now let us see, the amount is payable within 8 months. Therefore, even if he jumps from here, like if he launches himself like Angry Birds, he will fall within both the walls. He won't even cross the first wall also, forget about the second wall. That means the due date is 8 months. He will fall right here, which is well within the operating cycle of 10 months, which is well within the 12-month criteria. Therefore, this liability is called current liability. Now let us discuss the second scenario. The second scenario, the prisoner is here. The operating cycle is 10 months and then this is the standard 12-month criteria. The liability is payable within 12 months. Therefore, it is manages to cross the 10-month barrier, but it falls right at the 12-month thing. So it has to go beyond the 12-month condition to be escape the prison or to be called as non-current. So, but this time the due date is anyway within or on the 12-month condition. Therefore, it will be called current liability. Now let us talk about the third scenario. Operating cycle is 10 months and payable within 15 months. Okay, now again let us draw. I guess you get a hang of this now by now. Operating cycle and then you have 12-month condition. You see, this is operating cycle and it is 10 months. And then you have the standard 12-month condition. So the prisoner launches himself out, and since the payable is in 15 months, he will be able to cross this 10-month condition and he will be also able to cross this 12-month condition. Therefore, he will be able to walk away from both the walls. Therefore, this scenario is defined as a non-current liability. This liability in this scenario, it will be treated as non-current liability. Okay, let's talk about the fourth scenario. Operating cycle, payable. Operating cycle is 18 months, payable in 15 months. Operating cycle is 18 months, amount is payable in 15 months. Again, same prisoner wants to escape. First you have 12-month condition and then you have 18-month condition of operating cycle. This is the standard financial year of 12 months, and this is 18 months operating cycle. Now again, he launches himself. How long is the payable amount? 15 months. Therefore, he will be able to cross this 12-month barrier, but he will fall well within the 18-month condition because his operating cycle is pretty long. Therefore, even the payable is beyond 15 months, he falls within the operating cycle barrier. Therefore, this liability will be treated as current liability. Now let us discuss the last scenario. Operating cycle 10 months and payable 24 months. You have operating cycle 10-month barrier, and then you have the 12-month standard financial year barrier. And the payable is after 24 months. Therefore, if the prisoner launches himself out, he will be able to successfully cross this 10-month barrier, and he will also be able to cross the 12-month barrier, and he will successfully land outside the prison and he will escape the prison. Therefore, this scenario, the liability is non-current liability. So again, we have discussed 5 scenarios using this prison break method. Let me know your thoughts on how do you feel about this method. Does it work for you? Is it okay for you to visualize? I know it's crazy. I'm not saying it's a serious method, but my students follow this and it works for them every time. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.